Africa is bleeding. There's war in Sudan. Nobody mentioned about it here. There is war in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Nobody mentioned it here. The Sahelian countries, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali are excluded from the activities of the African Union. Africa is not at ease. So even as we talk about a borderless Africa, we must talk about an Africa where there is peace. Because you can have all the free borders you have, but if there is no peace, where will you move? I remember, I believe it's in the year 2020, the African Union said that there was the silencing of the guns. The guns are with us again. So my fellow Africans, let us not be romantic about what we are saying. Let us be realistic. Let us wed our words with our deeds. Several years ago, on the 40th day of the independence of Ghana, the former president of Tanzania, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, was here. And he spoke. And he apologized. He said Nkrumah was right, we were wrong. He was right because he foresaw that if African countries became used to titles such as president and prime ministers and ministers, it would not be easy to unite the continent. But he reminded his audience on that day that when African leaders go out or Africans go out of Africa, it is not their Ghanaian-ness or Rwandan-ness or Kenyan-ness that matters. It is their African-ness. He was reminding us that we need a continent that is borderless. The Belgians came. Africa became the hunting ground for the European colonizers, and we were the sport. We built, our ancestors built the United States of America. Our ancestors built Europe. And when slavery had lost its shine and sheen, the Europeans abolished it. But they replaced it with yet another pernicious enterprise, the colonization of Africa. The Europeans sat in Berlin, in Germany. Nobody cares about us. And brothers and sisters, if you want to know how weak we are, and we are weak, look at how we are treated. Last month, the world met in New York. The General Assembly. When African heads of states and government are speaking, the hall is empty. Nobody bothers because they are saying nothing. Even if they are saying something, it is something that can be ignored. Compare when an African head of state and government is speaking and when the Prime Minister of Little Israel is speaking. They will listen because we are weak and disunited. So we have a weak continent because the spirit of Pan-Africanism disappeared. So the question that we can ask, what is the state of Pan-Africanism as we speak today? The African Union, which is weak, says the right things and does the wrong things 9 out of 10 times. And what are the critical areas in which we are weak? We are weak politically because nobody listens to us. We are not trading with one another. Intra-African trade is not anything beyond 15%, the lowest anywhere in the world. If you look at all our sectors and look at them, look at our agriculture, almost all African countries are net food importers. There is not a single African country that is in meaningful technology. Not a single African country produces a mobile phone. Yet the single most important ingredient in mobile telephony is to be found in the democracy.
Of course, from the speech of Professor PLO Lumumba, truly Africa is bleeding. Africa is bleeding not by colonizers, not from slavery, not from colonization, but from African leaders. African leaders themselves, we don't deny the fact that this was all brought here by some people to the African leaders who made our leaders to start behaving this kind of way. But now, again, at the same time, it has been a long time since colonization ended in Africa, whereby this is the time that Africa would have organized itself. The African leaders know what to do, know how to plan their things, know how to rule and govern their countries, but not relying on other people's words. Because they are the one who allowed some people to come and manipulate them, trying to explain to them on how they show them how to govern their countries. And this is what it has made Africans to continue suffering and experiencing all that they have experienced today, like suffering all these crises and chaos for the longest time. Just like PLO Lumumba has said, in Africa we are having a problem because every time we are going to hold election, we must face crisis challenges. We must lose life. People of Africa are losing life, losing their properties because of election. Africa today is bleeding because when we take a look of all that's happening across African countries, it's all the same. All that's happening in Tanzania, in Uganda, in Nigeria, they are the same thing. The African leaders are acting the same way. No one is ready to surrender. No one is ready to listen to their voices. No one is ready to even care about the life of other people. What they're caring is about their power, their legacies. What they're caring is about the holding the position. But they don't care about how Africans are passing through hardship just because of them. We've been discussing this for long. Many people have been all time coming out to inject or to tell African leaders, try to change your ways. Because we are here to make Africa great. We cannot continue fighting ourselves, at the same time fighting some imperials who are coming here to distract African system of governance. Because when we as Africans allow ourselves to destroy and kill ourselves, this is a benefit to other people who made this to happen. Because once African continent is not at peace, when we are still fighting on who to occupy the office of power, this is what they expected Africans to do. So every time we are going to fight, we are going on the battlefield to kill each other, to do everything. That's what they want. That's what they celebrate. Because by doing this, they're getting what they wanted and they expected to get from the continent. So there is no day Africa will have peace when we are still acting like this, when we are not able to make the best decision, the right decision that will help the continent, will help the people, and will make everything possible as how we are planning. It is the high time that we as Africans, we need to prove the world that we are able, we are enough, we are much grown up, democratically, economically. We have to show the world that despite all they did to the continent, this is who we are. And we are able for doing this. The African youth are waking up, standing up, fighting, because we know that if we don't do this, no one else can do it. The leaders cannot do it because they're not interested in what the continent is doing. They're not interested about your life. They're only interested on what they're getting, what they're benefiting from the position that they're holding. That's all. The Westerners all time come out to say that Africa is not mature enough to govern itself. And we are the one as Africans who are coming to prove to them that we are not mature enough. Because even for the least election that we are holding, we are not able to count. We are not able to make a peaceful election. We are not able to conduct a peaceful, and the people and the citizens get the leader of their choice. And through this, it is resulting in deaths, destruction, and a lot of things. Africa is bleeding. And this bleeding will only be stopped by revolution, which will be done by you as an African and me as an African youth. We have to stand together and to make it happen. I will not take much of your time currently. Let me have you have a views in the comment section. You're doing great by tuning this channel. We can continue discussing African matters and how to save the continent. Be blessed and peace out.